It's been over 150 days since I began the Ultimate Insane Demon, and now the series will finally come to an end. And the final victim for the Ultimate Insane Demon will be Fallen Club by Tried. So let's see what I made and how I made it. So we are back for the 50 millionth time of the Ultimate Insane Demon. And honestly, this might actually be the final episode of the entire level. And as you guys definitely know, and a lot of you guys have hoped for since the very beginning, the final level that I'll be remaking is of course Fallen Club, which was my first Insane Demon. So this is definitely the Insane Demon I have the most experience with, and yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this will go. When it comes to remaking Fallen Club, I'll do the spider part in this video, and I'll do the final cube in a live stream finishing off the level. So obviously, since Fallen Club is a memory level, I kinda wanna use some memory here as well. So I guess I can begin with some pads right here. And I want to do some structures that kind of feel like vines. I wanted to do something similar with the gameplay for the previous part, where I wanted to have some more simple gameplay and not have it be too gimmicky and too confusing. Although it still had to include a lot of memory. This is a really weird click pattern that I'm building, but whatever. I guess I can put some invisible spikes here. Here I tried to do something gimmicky with some rotating orbs, but I felt like it was way too weird to do that, and it would also be pretty hard to decorate it, so I just changed that to some normal orbs instead. I can do something like this, so it's still kinda memory, but not that obtrusive. These structures literally look exactly the same. I'll probably do a pink dash orb and make it also be a bit faster. Now, this entire video was recorded while I was sick, so even though I'm really surprised I actually managed to make something, I also didn't have that great commentary in the beginning, so I think I'll just skip through a lot of this. I need to make it so that if you just fall like this, yeah, then I don't want you to kinda survive. And then right here you can have that like pretty so-called lazy thing. That wasn't the end of the spider part, like this. Yeah. So that means, well, let me just get to the part. It's kinda cool. I then changed some gameplay and buffed the part a little bit because it didn't feel that natural at the moment. So I think this will be the finished gameplay for this part. Pretty proud of it, and it's also pretty unique. I would like to do more, but this is a really little amount of gameplay. So I think what I'll do now is work on some structuring and maybe also patch some skips. And after that, I'll begin with the block design for the part. Okay, so now it's actually time to begin with the block design, and of course, I'll just begin with some simple outlines. Now, what I want this part to look like is an overgrown jungle, so kinda like expanding the theme that Tried had for the original idea of this part. And so to get some good inspiration for this part, I tended to look a lot to the golden, which surprisingly gave me a lot of ideas later on. But anyways, let's add some more details, like some bricks. You know, Tried is pretty much a #1 brick enjoyer, so I guess I'm gonna use those as well. I want to try to do some low opacity glow. So you see, that's some good shading, I like that. However, this still feels a bit too simple. It just kind of looks weird, you know. Probably do some glow lasers instead. I don't know exactly how I'll make them work. Maybe I'll make them sideways. You know what? I'll just make this base be evenly saturated, just to make it feel more like a jungle in a way. I want to change the object color to be a bit more olive and also a bit less saturated. But then I gotta crank up the saturation on these blocks, however. since the sort of color scheme that I want for this is something a little bit similar to the golden, actually. On layer 6, I want to try to add some of these, like, circular objects and kind of make them work as vines in a way. This is one of the main details that were inspired by the golden, and they're probably my favorite details of the entire design. Although it did take a while to make them look right. Maybe I'll try to do something simpler with it. Like, let's say instead of spikes, I can use some grass objects. Do something like this, and then also place some smaller grass objects as well. I would later add some shadows behind the vines to separate them more from the actual blocks. On layer 7, I want to implement these blocks. I don't really remember last time I used them in this level. Maybe I can do something like this on T1, copy them on B1, and make those be darker. I mean, again, right now it's just probably. Can add some like blending object colored glow on the top, extend that to the sides here. I then added some more details to the outlines because I was pretty much just out of ideas now. I really like that. Yeah, it's really cool. Now, something that I also want to do is add some like vines hanging below this. I want to try to use the same objects as the original level used, however just try to expand on it. So Fallen Club used these objects, so I kind of want to try to do something better than this, because I'm not the hugest fan of it, but it's cool, and it works pretty well with the simple nature. The vines themselves was pretty easy to implement, however, adding some glow to them was pretty hard to do. I guess the blending just wasn't blending. Let's say I can, again, resort to using glow lasers again. Put some like glow lasers on the side, and then put that on the other side as well. And then I guess I can put some like glow on top of this. Just kind of put that throughout. I mean, see, that's kind of cool, you know? And I just want to speedrun some pretty simple 3D, so let's just do that real quick. Okay, so the 3D has been speedrunned, and since I didn't feel like adding 3D to the bottom, I've just added some pretty simple shadows. But yeah, this is actually turning out to be looking like a pretty cool design. I do obviously want to add some more stuff to it, however, I don't really know what I can add to it right now, so I'll just think of something. I do kind of want to add some like alive stuff to this, but I'll probably do that with some of the other details, as I feel like the block design is actually pretty well done right now. What if I use these glow lasers more and just kind of use them to connect to the different structures? Yeah, I guess that works. So, but anyways, with that out of the way, let's just fill in the block design to the rest of the structures in this part. And while I'm filling in the block design, I'll just humbly ask you to please subscribe. I spend a lot of time on these videos, so any support would be highly appreciated. I also have memberships, so smash that join button for tons of cool perks. But anyways, let's get back to me remaking Fallen Club Part 1. Okay, so pretty much all of the block design has been filled in. I don't know why I said pretty much. All of the block design has been filled in. Now, I didn't fully explain this while I was making the block design, but I kinda wanna combine Fallen Club with the golden when it comes to this spider part, since I feel like that's a combination that isn't too far-fetched and that could actually work pretty well. For example, the next thing that I'm gonna do, which will be the ground spikes, I wanna make it that be very, very claustrophobic. So I wanna use like these as like ground spikes, and I wanna see something. So if I then take, let's say, these ground spikes below that, okay, so that is like good enough, yeah. So I'll just begin by putting all of this throughout the parts. So So let's see. It's cool, but I gotta change the ground color. But I don't want the ground spikes to just be this, so I'll add some more stuff to it as well. Like some bushes. Okay, why can I not select the bushes? There we go. I then added some rotating objects to the ground spikes and some glow to the top and bottom, and with that the entire ground spike design was complete. And yeah, I'll just think of some spots to put saw blades. But first of all, I gotta design the saw blades, so for this I want to try to use these ones, which is gonna be pretty hard since these do not look that good, but hopefully I'll figure out something. I didn't do that much interesting with this saw blade, like it was pretty much just some of my normal details but implemented to make them work with these types of saw blades. However, that doesn't mean that they look bad. And then I want to use some rotating objects like in the original part, but make it be darker. And then I want to try to use the smaller variations of these. The smallest one is invisible, so I guess I can do this. However, I do want to section it off, so I can add some black glow to section that off. Okay, maybe some half opacity black glow. Then I can copy it, put that on T2 and make that be blending glow. These rotating objects make the saw blade feel a little bit too big though, so I'll scale those down to, yeah, something like this. And then I want to make a smaller variation of the saw blade, so let's do that real quick. Okay, let's see, how does this look with the saw blades? Oh yeah, this looks so much better. Now, something that I also really like about this part is that like everything feels really dark, except for the main block design and all of the main gameplay, so that while you can still feel that it's a very dark and claustrophobic part, you can also very clearly see the block design and kinda where you have to go. However, because there's memory in this, it'll be pretty hard to know where to go without learning it. But yeah, I'm actually a pretty huge fan of this part so far, and what I want to do now is work on the spike design. For these spikes, I wanted to implement some invisible spikes just to make it feel like it has more memory to it. And also, it's a pretty unique decision that I haven't really seen before. So let's say this can be a normal spike, however I can give it a bit more hue, say plus 12 or something. I think I have some spikes here that I can put into this. Yeah. Basically what I did for those spikes is that I used some of the bush objects and I put those inside of the spikes, just making it feel as messy as possible on the very inside. I haven't added any glow to this, which is a heinous crime, so I'll just add some very nice glow to this. Something like this probably. And then I can put two glow pieces right here, make those T2, make that be glow and make that be, yeah, like that in a way. See, that's a cool spike. So yeah, I think those will be the spikes for the part. And then for the smaller spikes, I'll just remove the invisible spikes. Yeah, I really like these spikes as well. This part is just coming more and more together, which I really like. So now what I want to do is a custom background, and after doing the custom background, I'll just figure out some other stuff that I can do to make this part feel more alive. Okay, so it's the next day, I'm no longer sick, and I'll do some more progress on this part. I began by making the part feel more claustrophobic by adding some really large grass objects in the foreground and making the ground spikes move as the foreground itself. And after this, I would begin on the custom background, where I also wanted to use a lot of focus on parallax to try to make the part feel more three-dimensional. Yeah, I really like that. So I also have this to-do thing right here. So the first thing that I'll be doing is, of course, the background. Not entirely sure how I'll do a background for this, since this is a very closed in part, but I'll try something. So I guess I can try to do something pretty similar to the original part, which was just some bricks. However, I did bricks in the Acropolis part, so I have to do some changes to that. These bricks were pretty obnoxious to work with, but I realized that I just had to make them really goddamn big. I don't want it to be too similar to the background though, that's the main thing. For this second one, I can maybe scale that up for more variation. Maybe instead of making it a 0.8x modifier, I can make it a 0.9x modifier. And then to section this off more, I can just add some like glow behind it. And then maybe just scale that up to like 4 times. I should probably make the glow move as well, however. Yeah, that's cool. I want to add some grass details below this as well, so I can use these ones for that. See, that's cool. However, it starts way too late. I feel like that's the custom background done, so now I'll begin with movements. However, since movements are very boring to watch, I'll just do those in a time lapse. Now, if you're wondering about when I'm gonna stream this, I'll do it on this date right here, and in the following days, I'll try to stream myself verifying the level. And I think that'll be very fun for you guys to watch and for me to do. Okay, so these are the movements for the parts. I really like them. They make the part feel more, well, let's say, run down and destroyed as it was in the original level. And from one boring thing to watch to another boring thing, let's work on the pulses, which are probably gonna be equally as boring to watch or even more boring. So right here, I kind of want to do something like I did in If I Had a Part in Phobos. I'll make the object color kind of pulse to a bright white color like this, and then pulse the background to like a way darker color. After some tweaking, these special pulses actually looked pretty cool. And then something else that I want to try to do is do like what I did in the Crazy 3 part, where I kind of make the background flicker a bit, just making it be more and more of it the later you go on. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's cool actually. So the pulses weren't boring to do this time, which is really nice. Now it's time for the orb deco, which will be interesting. The orb deco wasn't really that interesting, as I just spammed a lot of random rotating objects around the orb until it looked pretty good. The bright glow does basically nothing because of the white on the orbs, so I think I'll do the dark glow, yeah. So now I'll just put this on top of the orbs. Yeah, now it's just time to put this on all of the orbs. Yeah, that's good. I really like this part. I really like this part. However, it's still not done. The final thing to do, according to the to-do list, is to add some indication for the fakes. There was pretty much nothing interesting to these indications, as I just did the exact same as I did in the Crimson Clutter part and in the first wave of my 9 Circles level. And with the indication for the fakes, that is the entire part complete. It's not entirely complete, I have to fix this transition right here, but before I fix the transition, I'll do something fun by adding the names of the members of my channel to the part. Thank you so much to my members: Dastinity, Ghost Zan, RST621, Il Padre, Kafo, Zoshaluko, Elmix9, Wowzy, Malachad, Lime, Cohen, Rion FX, Riplook, Sketchiest, Rolling 2400, and Kirby Axolotl GMD. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get to the final showcase of the level so far.